Welcome to your Scorpio horoscopes for the week. These are the horoscopes for the week, the 9th through the 15th. Not a whole lot going on this week for you guys. No planets coming into Scorpio this week. It's pretty quiet, I do have to say. Focus is on the past for you guys this week, which adds a couple of little interesting elements there to you for you. A couple of different things are coming up around that for you guys. First of all, visits from the past, which can be a lot of fun sometimes, can be not at all what you were expecting or even wanting to happen. Sometimes the past comes back to bite you in that case. So I'm not necessarily seeing that for you guys. It is the past coming back for a visit, and that could be a good thing. Could also bring up a lot of other stuff around that particular situation, or that person, if that makes sense. What is important here, I feel, is we always have an unlimited amount of lessons that can be learned from past experiences. And the difference between learning and wallowing really is to look at these circumstances for what they are. We have this weird way of tricking ourselves into remembering things in the way we want to remember them versus the way they actually were, if that makes sense. So, for instance, I did go through trauma as a child. I did have an abuser in my life as a child. Um, and I get to control how abusive he really was. I could go around telling people things that that I created in my head as a child that he didn't actually do. Or I can eliminate things that he might have done and just not remember them at all. And I'm pretty sure that that is actually a thing for me. The point is that a lot of times we tend to glorify people. On the flip side of that, we tend to glorify people in our life in the past that were not necessarily great influences for us. So for instance, if you had a parent that passed young, and when you think about that parent, you think of all the wonderful things that they've done, or the 5 wonderful things that they've done, but you're omitting and not thinking about all the times they abandoned you, all of the times that they weren't there for you. We tend to do that for a reason. One, I think it is a self-protection mechanism in many ways, but also I feel that we do that. I do it a lot when somebody dies. In a way, it's like we have this, don't say anything bad about, somebody who's dead. I mean, if they were a horrible person, they're a horrible person. I don't care if they're dead or alive. But we tend to glorify things to make it more comfortable for ourselves. And when we're children, that's what we do. It's all we know. As adults, we know better. And so going back and really looking at something for what it is versus the preconceived notion that we decided to create around that, it's helpful because in some ways you're holding on to what you wish would have happened and not what really is. And by holding on to that wish, somehow it makes it impossible to let it go, to make it it makes it impossible to move past it or to grow past it. And so we get stuck in this mindset that we refuse to get out of. And that's where going back and learning from the past is helpful, because once we identify this, once we know that this is absolutely something that is not going to be beneficial to us, we release it. It stops holding us back now, or it becomes less of a trigger that does hold us back now, if that makes sense. But there's a lot of fun there too. I love looking back at the past in my youth and thinking about all of the wonderful things and all the fun that we had, at that time. Not because I can't have fun now. It's just a different kind of fun that doesn't really exist for me anymore at this stage of my life. And I don't really want it to. It's not that I'm pining for it. It's just sometimes it's nice to revisit those stupid things that you did when you were young. I always enjoy doing that as well. So I see kind of a mixture in there for you guys. The other thing I just want to bring up here really quick in terms of focus on the past is patterns, specifically patterns with other people, or patterns, relationship patterns within certain relationships that you have. These patterns may come up in the next couple of weeks more than they normally do. And those patterns, especially if they're patterns that need to be changed, they're coming up for a reason. They're coming up to show you that something needs to be done about that. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do hit the like button. Do hit subscribe in case if you have not yet, just in case you would like to see these horoscopes again. You can get notified. The notification goes straight to your phone. And don't forget to click that link below and send me a coffee, because you know I need my coffee. You guys have a great week, and I will see you next week.